Amy Hollenkamp is going to be talking to us right now about her experiences with diet and digestion and her perspective as a gut patient, but also she's studying to be a registered dietitian. We love the RDs here, and we really appreciate all that skill set that they bring. And I know it's a hard series of courses, so thanks for going the distance. I love your blog, SIBO Diaries. It's really interesting. I love your perspective and your sort of let it all hang out, full disclosures. So thank you for that. I know it can be sort of an act of bravery, an act of courage sometimes.
Oh, stop. We're good. We're
good. I know. There she is, you guys. So I want to talk to you about diet in general, especially as you becoming a registered dietitian. This is obviously really important professionally for you. But there's a lot of talk about getting too limited in our diets. And then there's also a lot of talk about, actually, there's not a lot of talk about the emotional implications of restricting our diet. So let's talk about that for a little bit. I know that you've thought a lot about this and had a lot of experience with it. What's been going on with you? What are your thoughts about this topic?
Oh, man. I'm glad that we're talking about this topic. It's something that I really personally has touched me in a lot of ways. So I would say for me, when I was first diagnosed with SIBO or my digestive issues, and when I would have symptoms, I would think it was a diet problem. You know, I needed to restrict more and more and more. And every time new symptoms would pop up, I would say, oh, it's because I'm not restricting enough. It must be this food or this food. I need to keep restricting. And what happened is it kind of started this vicious cycle of restriction into where I was eating very few foods, and I was losing weight, and I got in this mindset where I started to fear certain foods that would give me digestive issues. And it was kind of like you were walking on thin ice. You know, I felt like if I ate a Brussels sprout, I was going to crash through that ice. You know, if I ate something else I wasn't supposed to, if I ate a little bit of onion on a burger, like a little onion powder, I was going to burst into flame or something. So I think there's this mindset in the gut community that you can fall into of like, the more restrictions you have, the better. And I think that you kind of need to reel that in a little bit, because sometimes restricting too much can be a real problem and could set you up for failure in a number of ways. We kind of tend to think that the more you restrict, the better. And I just personally, that never worked for me. And what works best for me is keeping things broad and then kind of saying like, oh, I'm really reacting to this food. Maybe I'll cut it out, but not trying to stick to one diet that is that someone developed for gut health or anything like that. Just trying to stick to trying to steer clear of my really bad trigger foods and reducing symptoms. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a journey for sure.
So what would you say to people who are struggling with the seesaw effect of like, you know, oh, am I cheating? But I'm hungry. Oh, I'm a bad person. Oh, there's a shame cycle. Oh, screw it. I'm going to eat whatever I want. Or, oh, wait, I'm going to go into this super regimented, you know, it's a ping pong game, let's face it. And it's like you're running around the ping pong table, you know, playing against yourself. So what advice do you have for us?
Well, I think the main thing is that there's no perfect diet, and you can't be perfect. You can try your best. And I think the main thing is to just try to reduce symptoms and inflammation the best you can, sticking to whole foods. I think really trusting your body. I think sometimes we can get too stuck on kind of a list of yes, no foods. You know, oh, this person did really well going dairy free, or this person did really well getting rid of beans, or this person did really well getting rid of gluten. And I think it's very personal. So I think trying to just instead really hone in on what works best for you, and not getting sucked into maybe some box of some particular diet. So I think really kind of just trusting yourself And knowing that a lot of digestive symptoms too are from other factors. So, managing your stress, really digging to the root of some of your digestive issues that are outside of diet that can really help you even more than some dietary changes could.
In your some of your posts, I see that you have, you're doing like food reviews and stuff. Just for you, I know we all have different, food reactions, but what were some of the foods that you ended up being really like happily surprised that you could tolerate at different stages? Do you have any good favorite foods?
Well, I think like the thing about me is like I never really struggled that much with FODMAPs. Like I never had super high reactions to like onions or anything like that. But at periods of time, I restricted really heavily, and it was like I wasn't getting any benefit from that. So, and it caused me more stress to try to avoid foods when I didn't really need to. I should have trusted my body and really understood, I can tolerate these foods and I won't have much problems with them. But I think I got really caught up with, what I was being told was right instead of just like listening to my body and really understanding what worked for me.
So advice for all of us would be to experiment and not be so rigid and not be so, what else? Fill in the blank. Not be so what?
I think give yourself a break, because even if you want to cheat sometimes, or even if you, which I don't really like the word cheat because it it kind of implies that you're doing something wrong when in reality you're just trying to kind of get another benefit. If you want to go out with your friends, but the food might not be totally trigger free or something, but you want to engage in social interaction, then that's a benefit. So you kind of have to weigh like pros and cons. But I think, give yourself a break, give yourself some room give yourself some wiggle room and get right back on the horse if you want to break, and so I think that would be the biggest thing, is just not being afraid to experiment, trusting yourself and giving yourself some wiggle room.
So if someone's struggling today and they're watching this and they're thinking, because I do say the word cheat and I shouldn't, you're exactly right. So I'll feel bad about that too now. No, I'm just kidding.
We're all on a guilt trip.
Yeah, right. It's harsh, man. It's so harsh.
Harsh world out there.
Right. Okay, so did you keep a food diary?
I did not, but I think it could be really helpful for you if you want to try it. I feel like what I would do is I started kind of giving thanks for my meals beforehand. I feel like that helps a lot with my digestion too. It's just like before each meal, taking a second to really be thankful for the food you have. And then after my meal, I would kind of go over my head, what did I eat? Did I feel okay with those foods? And kind of do a little check and balance. I feel like I don't do that all the time, but when I was symptomatic, when I was still struggling with a lot of symptoms and trying to hone in my diet, just really taking a moment to reflect on what I was eating and how I was responding.
So practicing some mindfulness and some gratitude.
I think that's really important. I think as far as gut symptoms in general, almost everyone can benefit from some sort of mindfulness practice. I love meditation too. I try to do that twice a day. And I feel like almost that can have more of an impact than even diet changes. For me personally too, I felt like I got a lot of benefit from meditation as far as symptom management goes.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. So how did you get started with meditating? What did you do? What if someone's home's like going, yeah, I've heard about it. It's a good idea. Siobhan talks about it all the time in her sessions, but because I do. What was the first thing that you did? Are you a natural meditator? Did you start when you were a kid?
I'm not a natural meditator at all, but I kind of I started getting into yoga. So you kind of get exposed. They're like, let's meditate. And I'm like, what's that? But I was listening to a podcast actually. I think it was Ben Greenfield, a Ben Greenfield podcast. I don't know if you know him. He's like a triathlete. And he talks a lot about nutrition and stuff. but he had a meditator, like an online meditator. I think her name's Emily Fletcher. She runs Ziva Mind. Have you heard of that program? Well, it's like an online meditation training that they offer. And so she talked all about like the benefits of meditation. So she has this online training and I decided to do it. And that's how I got started. So it was just kind of an online training. It was like 8 days. And so I try to do it 2 times a day for 15 minutes. And I feel like I get a lot of benefit. I get a lot of brain benefit from it too. Personally, like brain fog, it helps with brain fog. It helps with those types of symptoms.
Okay, I love it. So let's talk just a couple little action steps before we wrap up. This is just one of the shorter sessions. Let's go backwards. Meditate, reduce stress. Maybe, through meditation is one of those ways. And then to give yourself a break, to practice mindfulness, especially when you have a lot of triggering, and then not be so hard on yourself about your diet, or eliminate that concept of cheating, which I will work on myself. And what else? What else did we just cover as our couple of little action steps for everybody?
Like you want, what? So you want more action steps?
Yeah, I want more action steps. What else should everyone be doing or not doing?
Okay. I think, the one thing for me is to just, I think working with someone too can really help. So finding like a practitioner that you really trust and that can help you through any sort of like kind of mental blocks you're going through with developing your diet. Maybe you're too scared to try certain foods and you need to get over that hump because it's impacting your health. And just finding the right diet kind of requires some help and support. And I think even if you're looking for support online, like even with not a practitioner, like I have I call her my gut buddy, Christine. I met her online like 3 years ago. She lives in the same city I do. We talk probably once a month, probably more. And she's super helpful. And we always talk about diet and things if we're struggling. So I think just having some sort of social support there, whether that's a practitioner or someone that's going through the same experience, can be really helpful too.
Well, you've been mine today for sure.
Oh, I'll be your gut buddy any day.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy. I really appreciate you sharing your story and your perspective with everyone. Thanks, Emily.
I had a great time. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.